One day, when I'm 12 years old or so, my mom sits me down to talk with me after work. Really strange, she never does this, and it was out of the blue. Tells me she has a story about when she was a kid, and it's going to sound a bit weird, but she has to tell someone. She told her dad, but he's since passed away, and someone else has to know. Anyway, story goes that my mom was about my age when she moved into a house with her dad. They were always moving every few years, never staying in one place for too long. This house is older, in an old part of town, but it's pretty nice. Mom gets the feeling that she's being watched, but doesn't tell her dad about it. Has many nightmares and has to sleep in bed with her dad a lot, but tries to be brave. Dad doesn't get a lot of sleep either. Mom spends a lot of time home alone because her dad was always busy at work. So, she would take the day to explore the house and neighborhood, and then barricade herself in her father's room at night, waiting for him to come home at midnight or later. During her daytime exploration, she becomes obsessed with finding secret passageways, as she's read about them in books and how to dream about one. Behind the fireplace in the living room, she finds a panel that's loose, and she pulls it off, revealing a door. She opens it, and it opens outward. She steps in. Now this is a part that really hurt her to tell me about. Because behind the fireplace, it was warm and kind of dark, and there were a few dark alcoves. She's on her hands and knees and looks into one of them, and leaned up against the side is a corpse with blood on it. She screams and hits her head on the low ceiling and frantically tries to escape, but the door that she came in is blocked by something on the outside. She bangs against the door, but it hardly budges. She's screaming, crying, hyperventilating. My mom is in tears telling this story, and she never cries, so I'm shaken up. She turns around and sees the outline of the corpse in the dark, still sitting there, propped up against the wall. Mom can't escape, and is certain she's going to die. Starts hitting her elbows against the wall, and even smashes her head against the door. She's absolutely losing it. She is trapped here for hours, as the sun goes down, and all remaining light disappears. Somewhere in there is the corpse. Outside, she hears the back door unlock, and her dad walk inside. She starts screaming and pounding on the door, and her dad rushes over to the fireplace. A heavy scraping sound, and she shoves the door open, and he pulls her out. He's absolutely stunned. Mom's crying as she points into the hidden room, and describes the body to her dad, and how she was trapped in there. She looks over and sees that somehow someone had dragged the safe that her dad had in front of the door, while she was in, without her hearing. Her dad hugs her tight and grabs a flashlight and crawls into the opening. He shines it around and explores the whole thing. There's no body, and he explains that to my mom. She tells him that it was there, and he believes her. He tells her that he saw something strange once. Somehow, the corpse had disappeared. He assures her that he will sell the house soon, and they will move out in a week. He closes the door and puts the panel back on, nails the door shut, and moves the safe in front of it. That night, the two of them don't sleep. Grandpa arranges to pick up my mom and bring him to work, but one of his asshole managers won't let him bring her on the days that he's supervising, which is 3 times a week. After school one day, my mom spends the entire time locked in her dad's room, doing homework. She hears a sound of a pop, and then something unlatches behind her. A panel on the wall next to her father's bed had swung open like a door, and creaked before it hit the wall. Mom is scared, but curious. Grabs flashlight and leans over the bed to peer into the space. This doorway is almost as tall and wide as her dad, but leads into a short, narrow hallway, with some steep stairs at the end. She is too scared to explore, so she's about to reach for the panel and close it, when a pounding on her father's door starts. The door starts shaking, as if it's about to give way. She runs into the opening and slams the hidden door shut behind her, trapped in darkness save for her flashlight beam. hears a crack, and the bedroom door breaks open. Heavy, slow footsteps in the room that pace around the bed, and back again, before settling next to the hidden door. Mom retreats slowly back up the stairs at the end of the passage. This leads her to a crawlspace area above the second floor, and she follows one of the paths leading towards her room. As she goes along, she notices little vents and openings that one could peer out of. Finally, she reaches the area above her room and sees her bed in plain view. If someone was up here, they could have easily watched her without her seeing them. The house had ornate woodwork, and this peephole was hidden up there, somewhere on the molding. She's paralyzed by the fear of it, and whatever is in her father's bedroom. She stays up there for some time, she said about an hour. The back door unlocks, and her father walks up the stairs to find his bedroom door broken. He panics and shouts for my mom. She answers him, but it's muffled, and she crawls back the way she came. Opens hidden door and steps out to her shocked father. Explains what happened to him. He examines the passage and is deeply disturbed. That night he quits his job as they wouldn't let him take the night off. Nowhere for them to stay until the house is sold. And there it is freezing cold and snowing out. They call the police to report the intrusion, but the police are busy with other things, and promise to send an officer as soon as possible. Grandpa decides out of desperation to try spending the night at the neighbors. The two of them dress up in warm clothes and gather bags to spend the night. By now, there's a foot or two of snow, and they walk to the neighbor's house. Grandpa knocks on the door, but nobody answers. He rings the doorbell, and no response. He heads to the next house. Nobody answers, and then the next. Crosses the street to try again, and tries 5 different houses. Both are panicking and starting to freeze. They head back to spend the night in his car, but when they approach it, all of the windows have been smashed. Terrified and nearly freezing, they head back inside. Grandpa's door is busted, so they spend the night in Mom's room. Moves her dresser in front of the door, and he locates the peephole and stuffs it full of some cotton. The two, of course, never sleep. They take turns reading a book waiting for the sun to rise, until late in the night, they hear something scraping against the floor downstairs. It's the safe being pushed along the floor. The two look at each other, and Grandpa hugs her tightly. They both have tears in their eyes, and Grandpa runs over to grab a knife that he had by the table. Then, they hear the creaking as the thing walks up the stairs, and slowly towards Mom's room. Mom is shaking and silently sobbing, while her dad holds her tight. The thing starts slamming on the door, absolutely wailing on it. He grabs Mom and runs over to the window and pulls it open and looks below. It's not too big of a fall, and there's 2 or 3 feet of snow built up there. Grabs my mom, and the two of them look at the door as it shakes with each hit. Holds her tight and jumps into the snow pile, landing on his feet very hard. He curses in pain and looks up as a final crash is heard. A figure moves into view and stands by the window. It's the corpse that my mother had seen, but with new life in it. Blood dripping down it, eyes appear to be missing, just dark sockets. Tilts its head to one side and looks down at them. Grandpa runs as fast as he can through the snow while carrying my mom. Keeps going for blocks and blocks through the shallow snow in the road. Eventually, he reaches downtown and runs into a 7-Eleven. Begs the manager, and he agrees to let them spend the night in the store. The two fall asleep on the floor in the back office. In the morning, Grandpa decides nobody can live in that evil house. Returns to his home and torches it. Burns down entirely save for the foundation and the fireplace. And the secret room behind the fireplace. It's all brick. He made it look like an accident, and the inspectors buy it. Police are a bit suspicious because of the call to the police the night before, and the broken glass on his car, but they decide it's not worth their time. Not like he's trying insurance fraud or anything, and he's an outstanding citizen. The two move away to live with family after that. Grandpa passed away not too long ago. Mom takes me to see the site of the house a week later. Somebody had rebuilt it around the brick foundation. She bursts into tears, and we drive away. Never talks about it again. Now, after writing all of this, I have to add that little 12-year-old me was very skeptical of the paranormal, and even of this. She told the story so well, but I had to wonder if she was somehow pulling my leg. She's never done anything like that to me, though. To this day, it sounds too much like a movie. Yet she swore to me that it happened, and she was so disturbed by it